and there we go. Easily the best looking Radeon graphics card I've ever seen to date. Ladies and gentlemen, the day we have all been waiting for has finally arrived. AMD's Big Navi is literally in my hands. In this video, we're going to go through everything that you need to know in this cool little unboxing. This one is the RX 6800, so it's slightly different to the 6800 XT and the 6900, but to be honest, this is probably going to be the card I'd recommend to most people. Where are my scissors? Where are my scissors? Where are my scissors? But first, a quick word from our sponsor, Acer and the Predator Triton 500. This mesmerizing gaming laptop packs a truly bonkers 300Hz IPS display. Pair it up with a hyper-fast RTX 20 Super graphics, blazing quick Intel 10th generation processors, and PCIe NVMe storage. Check it out today with that link down below. Don't get me wrong, it's not that I don't think people won't want more performance, it's just whether you're going to need it or not, because this is still marketed as a 4K gaming card, and you are going to be able to do 4K 60 in the vast majority of titles with this. So why spend more money just for a little bit extra performance that most people aren't really going to need, unless you're playing at super fast refresh rates and high resolution at the same time? I'm telling you, this is all you're going to need. So then, here is our little box. And I believe this cover just comes off, and there we go. Easily the best looking Radeon graphics card I've ever seen to date. I mean, I suppose that's what ever seen means, isn't it? I love not only the theme, but what you won't be able to get across really on video is just how solid this thing feels. It's very metallic, it's not got any flex. Even the fan blades have these little R's on them to make it stand out a bit. It's really refreshing to see something that is going to go into a whole lot of systems and not look out of place, but then something that still has its own identity. Having said that, there is a lot of Radeon red on the top of the card, which is going to cause problems if you've got a color palette that really doesn't like this. I think as well, once you actually put this in your system in a normal fashion, then you actually see a lot more of that than the whole two-tone look. If you're going for a vertical GPU mount, then obviously that would be different, but obviously do take into account that you do have a lot of red on the top of this card. What else do we have? Well, two 8-pin power connections on the top. It is so nice to have nothing else in the box whatsoever. Not only is it a little bit better for the environment, but you're not going to have to go out and buy some like cable adapter or something just to plug your card in, which we all know that the Founders Edition suffers from that problem now, don't we? In terms of I/O, we do have HDMI, 2 display ports, and USB-C. I was a big fan actually of the USB-C on the older cards, so I was sad to see it go on the Nvidia ones this time round. Having said that, it's not necessarily going to be the most useful I/O for everybody, so obviously make sure that this I/O is going to work for you before you go out and make a purchase. I think the only real problem would be if you want to use 2 HDMIs or maybe 3 DisplayPort monitors, but both of those are fairly niche and you can always use an adapter. It's definitely worth noting that this time around we have HDMI 2.1 though, as this enables 4K at 120 frames a second. It doesn't matter too much at the moment on the monitor side of things, but definitely if you're wanting to buy a next generation TV, then this is the sort of connector you're going to need for that 4K 120 frames a second experience. Flipping it around to the back, you can see we have this lovely backplate on there. There's not really that much to talk about. There's no sort of fancy markings or styling or anything. It's pretty plain, but still looks pretty good. And then on the side, there's nothing. No fan connections, no RGB. I mean, what did you expect from a reference card? Come on. Which now means it is time to do a little comparison. Here is our RTX 3070, and chances are you're probably actually going to be picking between the two of these. This is still my favorite cooler actually design for the 3070. All of the third-party ones I've used so far have actually been, well, either slightly better than this, but way more expensive, or just not so good. Whereas this, I don't know, I'm thinking fairly similar things. It's got a nice substantial 3-fan design on it, but obviously that does mean it takes up more room. The thing is though, this works so efficiently that this card stays at around about 71 degrees, and you can't really hear it either, especially over any sort of game noise at all. Like, you know, this is the perfect card really. So I'm interested to see how this performs, bearing in mind it's going to use very similar power, yet has a bigger design. That 12-pin power connection though, in the middle of the card, this, proper 8 pins on the right-hand side. AMD wins. Mr. Bond wins. That's a great question actually. Which one is the Bond villain and which one is James Bond? No, that's a terrible question. I don't care. Let me know down in the comment section below. There are some massive differences though between the 3070 and the 6800 in terms of performance, because not only should this perform better, it's a more expensive card, but this has a whole lot more memory as well. Double the memory in this compared to the 3070. In practical terms, will this make that much difference? Probably not, but we don't know where games are going to be going in the next few years, and if you are going to want to be playing at 4K resolutions and above, having more memory is always a good thing. So it is definitely a win for AMD, and in terms of performance, this should perform better as well. I'll wait and see about that ray tracing and DLSS performance, of course, but if you're after a card that has more memory for, I don't know, high resolution gaming, but probably more likely intensive workloads, then clearly the 6800 should be at the top of your list. It's getting heavy now. It's getting heavy. Shall I freak everyone out? Ready? People get so upset. Oh, which leads us on to our final comparison, which is against the old flagship AMD card, which it was a pretty good card, but this reference design was, I'm sorry AMD, but just bad. And in terms of size, there's not really that much in it, to be honest. The newer card is ever so slightly longer, but it's probably not going to make much difference to you. They're both dual slot cards as well, so if you are upgrading from one of these, it should be a fairly easy upgrade. Just make sure you have decent airflow in front of the card, as that air has to go somewhere, whereas this one would chuck it out the back. And for most channels, this is where the video would have to sadly close, as we're currently under embargo. We can't show you any performance numbers until a few days' time. However, me being me, I wanted to up the ante and not break the rules, but get very close to it. So I've been told under no circumstances am I allowed to power this card on, and I can't install it into a PC. However, you may have noticed that what we have here is a PC with a vertical GPU mount, and I cannot put it in the vertical GPU mount. I did consider just unplugging it and saying it's not in, but I think that's flying too close to the sun for me. However, there is absolutely nothing stopping me from putting this near the mount, and you can see this is what it would look like in a system. Not too shabby at all. You see now it does add a whole lot of flair as well. I really like that. And to make things really realistic, just to upset AMD, I'm going to spin the fans. There you go. AMD, I've not broken your rules. It's not in the PC. Well, I guess it's on the PC. Let's go with that. It's on the PC and the fans are spinning. They're powered by me. There we go. So that is what your 6800 will look like. Do remember that the bigger cards, the 6800 XT and the 6900, do use a slightly different cooler with a 2.5 slot design, but we'll be checking those out in due course. Do stay tuned for the build that's coming in a few days' time. Get subscribed so you don't miss that, and my full review, all of my videos. There's going to be a lot of content, including some next-gen Ryzen stuff, all AMD. I am so very excited. Let me know your thoughts though. Are you on team AMD? Are you on team Nvidia? Or are you on the right team, which is buying the right card, the one that's best for you at the right price at the right time? If you're one of those people, smash that like button, get subscribed, and I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to check out the awesome Triton 500. Acer's gaming laptop refreshes at a mind-boggling 300 Hz, 5 times faster than your average screen, for smoothness that you simply have to feel to believe. Crush all of the latest titles with the RTX 2080 Super, 32GB of RAM, and 10th generation Intel processors. And even overclock it on the fly with one-punch overclocking. Learn more about this incredible gaming laptop today with that link down below. Oh, Amazon affiliate links for everything listed is down below. Let's be honest, stock is going to be bad.